Hi guys, this is Rose from Couture Cakes by Rose. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made this little cookie right here. I actually made this specifically for Mother's Day. I know that Mother's Day is celebrated throughout the world on different dates, but really every day is Mother's Day. So to all the moms all over the world, happy Mother's Day. And I'm going to show you guys how I made this little beauty today.
Here we have two of our cookie discs. These are not baked yet. I have rolled them out between two parchment paper to about 1/2 centimeter thickness or 5 millimeter thickness. And this one here, I cut that out using a 88 millimeter frilled or scalloped round cutter. And then I have another one right here wherein I cut out the middle portion with a 58 millimeter plain round cutter. Then we have to freeze this for a minimum of 30 minutes, preferably about an hour. And then after that, we're going to bake this for about 10 minutes. Here's our cookie disc that we just finished cooking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Now remember, we froze this for 30 minutes to 1 hour. I prefer to freeze it for 1 hour, but if you are having time constraints, you can freeze it for 30 minutes. That way, when you cook it, it won't spread. And I have also superimposed the cutters that we use to cut out our disc to give you guys a reference at what the cookie looks like after it's cooked. And as you can all see, it barely spread. And that's because we froze our cookie disc before we cooked it. Now you can also cut out perfect shape cookie disc by rolling out your cookie dough to about 1/2 centimeter thickness or 5 millimeter thickness. Then bake that 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, and then after that you take it out and take your desired cutters and cut out your preferred shape.
Now we're going to start decorating our cookie, and right here I have two fondant discs I had cut out using the same size cutter that we used to cut these cookies earlier, and this is the 88 millimeter frilled or scalloped round cutter, and I also have the 58 millimeter plain round cutter. So this one we're gonna leave plain and close just like so, while this one we are going to cut out the middle section of it just like we did with this cookie. There you go. Set that aside, and we're gonna take this one first, and we're going to cover that with this fondant disc that we just cut out. And I had already brushed the top of this cookie with edible glue. You can also use piping gel, clear piping gel, to adhere your fondant cover on top of your cookie, and just smooth it out. After we covered our cookie disc with our fondant disc, I went ahead and brushed the entire surface with Super Pearl Luster Dust, and I just used my fluffy brush to do that, just very lightly, just to add a little bit of shimmer to it. And we're gonna set that aside. Now, for this one, I highly recommend that you let your fondant cut out rest at room temperature for about 15 minutes. That way, when you pick it up, it won't stretch and lose its shape. So again, I had brushed the surface of this with edible glue. You can also use clear piping gel, and we're just gonna pick up our fondant cutout, and we're gonna lay that right on top of it, and we're gonna kind of align those scallop edges of our fondant to the scallop edges of our cookie. So just go around and kind of align that right there. Now don't worry if there's those surface that's visible, because we're gonna fix that later when we decorate. Alright, there you go. And again, we are going to brush that surface with Super Pearl Luster Dust, just very lightly. You just want to add a little bit of shimmer to it. And we're going to set this at that. Now, I have here a fondant heart that I made out of this mold that I also sell in my Etsy shop, and I just brushed the entire surface of it with this coral luster dust. And I'm gonna show you guys a little tip. I always find it difficult to open these little pods, and today all of a sudden I just thought, I'm really having difficulty opening this, and I don't want to ruin the top, so I kind of look for this bottle top opener, and it worked. So just do that and just pop it open like so, and it worked like wonder. There you go. Now we're gonna not ever gonna break our nails opening this little pod. So that's my little tip for you guys. Anyway, so I brushed the entire surface of this little fondant heart with that coral luster dust, and then I started painting those little detail right there with my golden bronze paint. And I'm gonna finish this off, and I'll come back and show you guys how to put this together. We're gonna put this together, and we're just gonna brush the bottom of our top cookie with some edible glue. Just very lightly brush that. And then we're going to put it right on top of our bottom cookie, and we're gonna make sure that the scalloped area of our top cookie aligns with the scallop area of our bottom cookie. There you go. And just press lightly on it. Okay? Now, we're going to use some royal icing to make our brush embroidery on top of our top cookie, and we're just gonna pipe along the scallop area. And right here I have a number 2 Wilton tip. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pipe over those scallop areas, and I'm just gonna do 4 at a time. That way my royal icing won't dry. And then I'm gonna use my flat brush to pull the icing, and I'm dipping that in some water and wiping the excess off. And I keep going back and forth because I'm trying to get that brushed look when I was pulling on my royal icing. And once I'm happy with it, I'm gonna keep on piping over the scalloped areas. And again, I'm using a number 2 Wilton tip. And whenever I'm not piping, I have my nozzle hiding inside a wet paper towel so it doesn't clog and dry up. We're almost done with our brushed embroidery. There you go, and now we are going to let this air dry for approximately about 20 to 30 minutes. And then we'll paint over just the edge of it with golden bronze paint. While waiting for our brush embroidery to dry, we're gonna go ahead and just pop a little bit of edible glue right in the middle of that fondant heart that we just painted earlier. And we're going to pop that right in the middle. The paint is not dry yet. That's okay. And you just use your small palette knife to position it right there. Okay, and press down on it just a little bit. You can press down on this because that one is dry painted. And then we'll leave that alone to air dry. Now remember, earlier I told you guys not to worry about the difference in color of that cookie and our fondant because we're going to decorate that. And this is what I started doing. I just went ahead and painted the cookie as well as the fondant disc, just that inner portion, with golden bronze paint. That way we'll have a uniform color. Now we're just going to paint the edge of our brushed embroidered scalloped areas with the same color of golden bronze paint that we used for that inner area right there. And we're going to go around painting this edge until we get back to where we started, and then we're all done. There you go, that's our finished Mother's Day cookie. If you make this and give this to your mom, she's gonna love it. And I actually opted to use a big heart for the middle section of our cookie because moms generally have the biggest heart. Their children can do a lot of naughty stuff, but they're gonna love their children no matter what. So that big heart right there represents Mom's big heart. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in the world.